Hey, I'm Nick and welcome to Obsessed Garage Academy, a series of short videos where we dive into some of the more technical aspects of the things we sell. Today, we're talking CR Spotless. One of the most common questions we get asked about the CR Spotless is, when do I know when to change my cartridges out? Your CR Spotless is going to come with a TDS meter, or a total dissolvable solids meter. This reads out in parts per million, so it's going to tell you how many molecules of contaminants there are for every million molecules of water. CR Spotless says that anything below 0 is physically impossible to leave a water spot on your paint. If your TDS monitor is reading 0, that means your water is perfect and there is 0 chance of water spotting. Anything above 0, CR Spotless considers contaminated. But the vast majority of people won't notice a drop in performance until around 10 to 12 parts per million. Anything over 15 to 20, we recommend changing out your resin. So how do we go about changing these cartridges out? Well, your CR Spotless should have came with a wrench. Some will be black, some will be white. This is what we use to take the cartridges off of the housing. First thing you're going to want to do is ensure that there is no pressure inside of your cartridges, whether that means letting the water out through a hose or through a valve like we have in our Prebos piping system. You're going to take your wrench, place it over the bottom of the CR Spotless, and put it all the way up to the top where it's snug. This prevents the wrench from cracking, breaking, anything like that. These are going to be super tight, so put your whole body into it and turn it. There we go. Turn it one more time. All right. Once you get it a little loose, you can do the rest by hand. But before we do that, I'm going to grab a bucket. You can use any bucket to do this. We're just going to slip it over the bottom to make sure we don't make a mess. Unscrew the rest of the way by hand.
And not do that.
That's why we use the bucket. There we go. So once you get these canisters off, the next step is to replace the cartridge on the inside. First thing you're going to want to do is check and inspect the O-ring around the outside. If this is damaged, is showing wear, is dry rotted, it's time to replace it. This could cause some serious leaking issues if you don't address it now. First thing, we're going to want to take out the centering ring. So get your finger in there and pop it out. Then all there is to do is pull the resin cartridge out. Alright, so once you get your resin cartridge out, it's time to replace it for a new one. In this specific example, we're not actually replacing it, we're only doing it for demonstration. Take it, drop it in. You'll see some ridges on the inside of the blue housing. Make sure it seats correctly down in there. You're going to grab your centering ring and place it around the outside of the resin cartridge and push it down firmly so it doesn't move. Alrighty. One last thing to inspect before we replace these onto the housing is your rubber O-ring around the top. Again, just like the one on the outside, make sure there's no wear, no dry rotting, no contaminants on there. If it looks good, you're ready to install them. Once your resin's installed, it's pretty simple. All you got to do is screw it back on. Alrighty. It should go very easily if you're up for it. Again. Then we'll have to snug that back down. Cool. Once they're screwed back onto the housing, just give them a little tighten down to make sure that O-ring is seated properly. You don't want to go too crazy as this is a plastic housing and you could crack it. All right. Probably dead. And that's about it. You should be all done. All there's left to do is supply water to them, make sure there's no leaks, and have a look at your TDS meter. It should be reading 0, but do note that it's not going to give an accurate reading until there's water flowing through the system. So you might want to pull the trigger of your pressure washer gun or just leave the hose open. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let us know down below or email us directly at support@obsessedgarage.com.